All right, we are talking about Atomic Habits. Book study time. Atomic Habits, I think that's flipped for you guys, but by James Clear. So, the introduction of this book just sucks you right in, doesn't it? I love his story, his personal story. And I also love all the illustrations that he gives throughout just to kind of paint a picture of what the heck he's talking about. Atomic Habits, of course, means tiny, teeny, little, small, incremental changes. And it's what I say all the time. Baby steps will get you there. I promise you, baby steps. Take your time. It's okay. When you're organizing, when you're decluttering, if you do a little bit at a time, I promise you, you're going to get there. If you start sprinkling in those 5 decluttering habits, you're eventually just going to all of a sudden be an organized person because you've started to define yourself as an organized person. And I love his example of how just like little small incremental changes can make a huge impact from point A to point B. So that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to go from point A to point B, and we've got a goal over here. And we'll talk about the goals later and how you don't want to focus on just the goals when you're trying to create habits. But he says, like, I love his analogy of the plane. So if you are in a plane and you just pivot the nose of the plane a few degrees, you don't feel it, you don't sense that it's happening. You may, like, as a passenger in the plane, may know a little, like, I don't know, maybe we moved, I have no idea. I don't know, is anything going on? So you don't notice the change necessarily until you get to where you were going. It makes the difference of hundreds of miles of difference. So instead of going to New York City, you land in Washington, D.C. I don't know how. Those are hundreds of miles apart. So that is it's true. If you just make a tiny, tiny shift in your life, you're going to really change the trajectory of where you go, either good or bad. So depending on whether you are trying to break a bad habit or start a new good habit, it can really shift where you're going. I really also like how he explained how you don't see progress right away. It doesn't make any sense. And how a lot of people will stop, and I'm guilty of this, you'll stop a good habit because you're like, well, it's been a month, I'm not seeing anything, and it pisses you off, right? It makes me mad anyway. I'm like, I have been doing this for eating healthy for a month and depriving myself, and I don't see any difference in my health, even though things are going on inside that I can't really feel, and eventually it's going to get me to where I want to go. I may stop because I don't see results. And the same thing with a bad habit. If you're, let's say, my dad was a smoker since he was 12 years old, y'all, very long time. So obviously, he's like, well, I don't see anything bad happening. I don't see anything bad happening 10, 20, 30 years down the line. I'm like, there's nothing bad happening until something bad happens, until your arteries are clogged up because you're a smoker and you have health problems. So eventually it's, those habits kind of mold your life and almost mold the person that you are. I was going there and I got off track, but the bamboo story. So I think it's 6 or 7 years, I think maybe he says, that bamboo grows and grows and grows, but you don't see it. It's like almost underneath the soil, and it's so teeny tiny you don't even notice the bamboo until the last 6 weeks there, until like 6 weeks spurt of, it shoots up and it grows really, really tall, and you're like, ooh, there's the bamboo. There it is. So little small incremental shifts and movements all of a sudden will just help you boom and bloom. And hopefully these are good habits we're talking about, and we want to establish the good habits. So even if you're not seeing something, things are happening either inside you, inside your brain, inside your body, inside your mind, inside the path that you're taking on life. Things are happening and shifting based upon the habits that you are establishing right now, right today. And he calls that lag response or something. The lag response. So who you are today is the lag response. So who I am today is the lag response of what I did years ago. So today I am a runner and I am planning on running a marathon because of what I did 10 years ago with Michelle, who's in this club, and decided that I wanted to go ahead and start running. So it just created momentum to where I am today. Okay, that's it for the first part. I think that's in chapter 1. So dive in. Chapter 2 is great too. There's all sorts of really good meaty material in here. So I hope you guys are getting something out of this. This is a really, really great book. So and it's really inspired me to shift up a few things myself.